Assalamu alaikum. I am Saira Iqbal Khan from the Office of Career Services and Innovation Capital Development Forum, a think tank initiative of UMT. And today we have with us one of the honorary guests, Mr. Ibrahim Amir. And Assalamu alaikum, sir, and how are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good too. And sir, we will have just your insights about we know that telecom industry is basically growing a lot. So how do you see the future of telecom industry in Pakistan?
The future of telecom industry is promising, but the telecom industry also has to transform just like many other industries and become and stay relevant. The needs of our customers are evolving. They just don't want connectivity to make voice calls. This is how the mobile phone used to be. But now what you have in your hands is a smartphone. And smartphone, I call it more like a remote control to your life. So you have everything from information, communication, entertainment, but also education and commerce. So if we are not relevant as telecom companies, fulfilling the needs of our customers in all these 5 areas, then I think that the future could be slightly bleak. So just like every successful company, every successful industry, I think Jazz and more broadly the telecom industry in Pakistan also has to evolve so that we can be relevant for the future needs of our customers.
Yeah. And as you know, this is the era of Industrial Revolution 4.0. And so, what do you think? What are the emerging disruptions and innovations in the telecom industry?
So again, I will tie the two industries together, telecom as well as technology, and the areas of disruption are mostly around data and utilization of data. So previously, currency of the world was oil.
Yeah.
The future currency of the world is data. I mean, how do we offer data as a service? We've heard a lot about big data. There's a lot of volume around big data, different sources of data, but it's really about understanding the bigger patterns and making them relevant for our marketeers, for our other businesses. So I think understanding of data and knowing what to do with it is going to be an important trend. Again, there is also going to be a lot of investment and interest in artificial intelligence and machine learning. And that has a bigger societal impact because what we learn at school and the jobs that we do today could get changed in the future, right?
The disruption in the careers is also
the disruption is going to come.
Yeah.
I don't think humans are going to become less relevant, but humans also have to do something different to stay relevant.
Yeah.
The machines are
winning
the race right now. So these, I think, 2 or 3 areas, how we utilize data and artificial intelligence / machine learning are going to be the big movers in our work.
Okay, one more question is that because we belong to academia, so what do you think that, as we know that telecom and IT industry, they have moved from hardware to software, right? So what is your advice to the academia that how they're supposed to prepare the graduates, because by the time they graduate, they become somehow obsolete in the market because, the playing field, gets changed so quickly that we are not prepared for that. And what do you think, what are the IT skills or software skills in which students really need to focus on more to cope up with the race, because robots are going to replace humans, and there is a new, fight, or you can say, running, which is going to happen. So what is your advice to the students that, and which IT and software skills they really need to focus on more?
So I think between the time they start college and the time they finish college, 4 years, I don't think the world will radically change in 4 years. The things that we've talked about, especially machine learning and the threats to the jobs that we do today, are probably a couple of decades away. So I think continuing to invest and having the inquisitive mindset and becoming familiar with programming languages is always going to be relevant. Just like we used to learn different languages, foreign languages a few years ago. Again, a Russian may be able to communicate with a Brazilian through a language like a Python, rather than English.
Yeah.
So I think continuing to invest in those things is going to be relevant. Secondly, I would always encourage students also to have some kind of experience in some entrepreneurial setup to create something of their own. And that gives them dealing with uncertainty and discomfort. And I think that's going to be important because there's going to be a lot of disruption in whichever environment they go to. So not just for IT students, but I think for just about every student, learning to deal with uncertainty is going to be very important.
Okay, 2 more questions and I will get
you said it was last question.
No. The conversation seems to be more productive, so that I thought we should really continue with it. What do you think, what is the role of the key stakeholders in today's era where they really need to focus on the grooming of the graduates, because these graduates which will be graduating from the universities, they'll be the future leaders, and they will be joining their organizations either in the form of employees, or maybe they will be running their own entrepreneurial endeavors. So what do you think that what is the role of the key decision makers, key stakeholders in the organizations or in the innovation ecosystem somehow we really need to focus on? Because we have an initiative of Innovation Capital Development Forum, which is a think tank, and we need the inclusion of all the stakeholders from academia, industry, regulators, government, student body as well. So what do you think, what is the role of the stakeholders like yourself or the key decision makers? How can they groom the graduates of the future leaders?
So I'm not sure about whether we can groom or not. We give them the environment and they will obviously benefit from some of the advice that we offer, but we already talked about dealing with uncertainty and experimentation. I think not forcing the next generation to be straitjacketed is going to be important. We have to move back a little bit and give them some breathing space. So don't tell them that this is how a good employee should be, because those kind of organizations are also changing. The fluid organizations of the future are knowledge-based environments, right? What you bring to the organization is your brain power. It's not really how well you dress up, and those mannerisms, basic mannerisms will still be important, but I don't think that's going to be the key to success only. So I think grooming, I find it that is a slightly, in my view, a slightly condescending word, right? You need to encourage and emancipate them. The currencies of the future I've already talked about are going to be more around data. Getting them comfortable with experimenting and failing is going to be important. Integrity is going to be even more important in the data world, because we're going to deal with cryptocurrencies, we're going to deal with privacy, we're going to deal with data breaches. So I think integrity is going to be an important ingredient. I think those are the 3 or 4 things: dealing with uncomfortable situations or uncertainty, experimentation, learning computer languages, not just for IT people, but for everybody. And I think having a very rock solid integrity focus.
Okay, so last question now, finally. Okay, so going forward, what do you see that the mobile virtual network operator, are they coming to Pakistan or not, or do we have the capacity to operate, to offer the retail operators this thing or not?
So MVNOs have succeeded in certain environments where a gap, a segmentation gap has remained unfulfilled. It could be an international calling company like Lebara or something like that. But I think in Pakistan we still have some penetration to go in terms of mobile phone penetration. We're already about 140-50 million SIMs out of 200 million people. I don't think we have left any segment unaddressed, but they can and they may not succeed. I don't know. The regulation is neutral, it's not very favorable, but in some environments MVNOs have succeeded, and some of them they are not needed. So I'm not really in favor or against favor. Maybe they will find a spot over here, but most of the segments over here have been addressed. Right now the 50 million population which hasn't benefited from mobile technology isn't because that they don't get the right tariff or they don't get anything. It's just that in those areas there is no coverage because there is no electricity, because we can't really provide it to them. So I'm neutralish about MVNO, not too bullish. Okay. I think there are more exciting things to do in telecom.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you.